Welcome to Simple Food Channel once again, dear audience. Today in this video, I will tell you about interesting and thrilling catching fish in the pond for Ted and the story of Uncle PHI, a folk artist and cultural icon of the southern region, famous for his humorous and witty storytelling, expressing optimism, generosity and love for people. He is a real person who contributed to the land reclamation and was honored as the king of comedy of the western region of Vietnam. Before starting, please subscribe, like and share my channel. Thank you, dear audience. Okay, let's go. The West in the past, draining ponds to catch fish for Tet. Natural features create a traditional cultural lifestyle and culinary culture that only exists in the West. Among them is the culture of draining ponds to catch fish for Tet. The story of removing traps and draining ponds to catch fish is not strange to people in the River Delta region. Most people in the Mekong Delta have participated in or witnessed the scene of draining ponds and removing traps. In the old Mekong Delta, on the days before Tet, people drained ponds, covered ponds, cast nets, and removed traps to catch fish for Tet. That time was the dry season. The water level was low, so it was the season to catch freshwater and river fish. In the river, people dismantled traps, cast nets, and spread nets. The biggest harvest was by removing traps. No one knows since when, but people in the Mekong Delta have passed down this way of catching fish. A few months before removing the trap, the person removing the trap follows the first tide of the season, chooses a suitable location on the river, then weighs down the net below, and drops dry branches such as myrtle, bamboo, to lure fish and shrimp into shelter. When catching fish, the person removing the trap pulls the trap out and puts it outside, then lifts up the net, narrows the net, and catches. Instead of bailing, people in the mangrove areas of the Khao Mau Peninsula use nets to catch fish in the ponds. They use a small mesh net with a size larger than the pond, drop it into the pond, then use small sticks to fold it up and pin the edge of the net at intervals along the pond bank, about 2 inches above the water surface. After about an hour, the fish under the net will feel suffocated and will crawl along the edge of the pond to find an opening to jump back into the pond. After waiting a few more hours for all the fish to get in, the person taking care of the pond will cover the water surface with a second layer of net, then gather both nets in one corner and scoop up the fish. In the fields, people drain ponds, dams, and dams. Some families gathered together to drain the water because it required labor to drain, catch, and process fish. Back then, the tools used to drain the water were usually tin cans, basins, and buckets, not machines like today. In the past, when draining ponds and removing nets, there were countless fish. Pond and net owners sold the fish to traders to take away, earning money for Tet. The rest was divided among relatives and neighbors, then dried, made into fish sauce and left to roast in preparation for the 3 days of Tet. Neighbors gathered happily. Women worked on the fish all night by the light of oil lamps and kerosene lamps. Now there was so little fish sauce that every family had to drain their ponds to catch fish without having to work hard to catch and prepare fish like before. Catching fish by draining ponds has been around since the time of land reclamation, as Uncle PHI once told in the story The King Cobra Catching Fish. The story goes like this: once upon a time, when we first came to this land to reclaim it, there were snakes in the Yumin forest. Each one was very big. At first, when people told me about it, I didn't believe it. But then one day, my wife and I went into the forest, planning to find a big pond with shallow water, and drain it to catch some fish to eat. When we reached the edge of the forest, we heard the sound of someone bailing water from afar. There was a pond in the forest about 5 meters wide and more than 40 meters long. I had estimated it the other day. What a pity, we had just reached the edge of the forest when someone was already bailing water. Who was that fast? I told her so, but we both quickly went forward. Standing on this side of the pond, hiding behind a huge cajapa tree, I saw a king cobra on the other side of the pond. Its tail was hooked to one end, its head was hooked to the other, its body was flat and swaying. It turned out it was bailing out the water to catch fish to eat. I pinched her hand painfully, signaling her to stand still to see what the king cobra would do. Near sunset, the pond had dried up, and black perch and catfish were wriggling around in the mud. She was so excited that she cried out to the heavens. Seeing the movement, the snake quickly ran away into the forest. I just told her to go home and call the neighbors to come catch it and bring it back. If you don't believe me, you can ask her. That was fish. And what about shrimp? What did Uncle PHI say? Yumin Shrimp said, one day, when we had guests, we were short of food, so I asked my youngest daughter to go around the edge of the pond to find some fish. The little girl obediently covered her head with a bathrobe, rolled up her pants, and waded in, catching large-sized goby fish, giant snakehead fish, striped catfish, and perch, throwing them ashore. Seeing that there were too many fish, I told her to stop, but the little girl was still eager, so she fished a little more. She told me to go out to the pond and catch some giant prawns for me and the guests to drink with. The girl had just bent down right at the mouth of the pipe to hit the ground when I suddenly saw a loud crash from under the water. Oh my God, shrimp! The girl turned her face away to avoid it. There were crayfish, giant freshwater prawns, and shrimps jumping up and sticking their spines into its headscarf, their tails sticking out and snapping. The youngest child's head was covered with scratches and scallops, as if it were wearing a pile of coral. Her mother took out a basket and removed all the shrimp stuck on her headscarf, weighing 2 kilos, and ate. Now life has changed. Fish and shrimp are not like before, but somewhere people still preserve this unique culture. Now the sound of water being scooped out has been replaced by the crisp sound of the machine. People gather around the pond to watch. People in the pond are busy searching for each fish under the mud. Then the arm was raised when the result was a fish in hand. On the shore, some people said, "Wow! What a huge fish!" Others, "What a huge fish!" And so on. The sound of joy and laughter filled the air. From the 25th and 26th of Tet, the whole neighborhood started to drain the ponds and catch fish. That's why people say it's as fun as Tet. Then the act of draining the pond, removing the nets to catch fish, is recreated at the tourist area to preserve the unique features of the Mekong Delta's rivers. It attracts a lot of visitors. Because children love to splash around in the mud, and adults have not been able to catch fish for a long time, so they are a bit nostalgic and remember the years of making a living. That's a short story about Uncle PHI and the custom of catching fish for Tet in the western region of Vietnam. Okay, back to the video, dear viewers. Today's meal has 2 dishes, stir-fried squash and braised pork. Ingredients include 1 kilogram pork, 3 squash, garlic, chili, ginger, green onions, and seasonings including sugar, salt, seasoning powder, fish sauce, cooking oil, and ground pepper. And how to prepare it, you will know by watching the video. That's all about thrilling and interesting experience story. Thank you for watching and listening. See you in the next videos. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel. Have a nice day and thank you very much.